way. So we can't say for certain that that bottom lane is going to default to those sort of picks, though.
Kassadin was taken away there. What a surprise. Kassadin banned out again. On the other side, Kayle is becoming more, I almost hesitant to say more and more popular. It is ever so slightly more and more popular, and we've seen, you know, NIP are a victim of this, I guess we could say, from promotion, that when a Kayle gets to a certain point, he just nukes everything, including towers, and it means he can push very quickly. We know that Alex can play that very well. That's taken away. Final ban for Gambit here actually is going to be LeBlanc. Very good LeBlanc player, somehow with a trackball, but he is.
It boggles my mind, and the reason I like the Kayle being removed there is the defensive power that ultimate gives you. It's actually what allowed Copenhagen Wolves to be alliance. They were able to react very positively. With Mondo going through, the one thing we have missed is that Yasuo was available, as we've seen. I think that is not locked in just yet. Now, the interesting thing about Gambit is that both Darian and Alexich have actually been playing Yasuo in solo queue and spamming him. After something like 51 or 52 games, Darian had an average death of less than 1. It was 0.8 or so after playing 50-odd games with that number. So he's a very skilled player, but you have to imagine Millenium have anticipated this. They wouldn't let it go through without anticipating it was going to be picked up.
Unless they've made a bit of a grave error and totally forgot about him, which you just don't expect from these teams at this point of things. And actually, it's going to be switched away from, but I'm telling you guys, we can still expect that Yasuo if, you know, looking into our research is anything to go by. And, well, it will be actually there because we've just seen it picked up by Alternate. Other side, Jinx, Lee Sin. It wasn't locked in, sorry. So
not locked in.
My monitor's a little bit wonky here. I can't quite tell if they're locked in without really going over there. But Teemo's not going to be picked by Millenium.
I have to be honest. I do think Yasuo at some point is going to be picked. I know both of these teams are practicing them and playing that champion an extensive amount. Aranea, if he locks in this Vi, he flat out trolled you, Joe, I'm afraid, because that is going to be that Vi in the jungle. This is also a smart pick because it makes Gambit more hesitant to lock in Yasuo. Knowing that you've got a Leona that could follow in after the Vi means that that squishy assassin of Yasuo, who plays a very similar role to a Zed, can get very, very easily countered in mid to late game team fights.
No, but Millenium might think about having a Yasuo in the team with a Vi there. Whether that knock up, we'll have to see about that one. Still some interesting questions to be answered. We are going to see Genji, of course, playing Jinx this time around, and we'll have Lee Sin with Diamond, who had a great game yesterday, actually, in that win, their first win of the season against the Copenhagen Wolves. Actually finished 3-1-13 with that, and really helped get Alex snowball in mid.
And Kha'Zix is available here as well. If we know that Yasuo is a potential pick, you could go for something like a Kha'Zix. You have the ability to jump in, get involved. There's a lot of damage that can go down from both of the players. And it comes down to whoever gets help from their jungler more, or whoever gets more poke down early. And Darian, he's just once again gone with Warwick. And he wants to stay in that top lane, sustain for as long as possible. I really don't know how this is going to work because you've got great initiation from Vi, great initiation from Warwick, but Vi does it a little bit better.
I wonder how many times you're going to...
I'm going to try.
It's hard to get rid of an old habit of calling it like that. Jay Ree is another one of the master support trolls when it comes to picking things up. He'll be flashing all the way through until the very last seconds of this one. And I'm also going to be mad at Aranea if he lied to me earlier and they just picked something standard here.
I'm going to be a little bit nervous. We may not see Yasuo because of the threat of that Vi-Leona combination. I think if Gambit were to lock Yasuo in now, it would be a very confident pick because he could get locked down, or Jinx could get locked down by either one of those two. Gragas, if this gets locked in, can then disperse the rest of the Gambit team. I think that is a very, very good pick and ban phase here for Millenium. Kha'Zix is available if they want to go Assassin. Yasuo, the same thing. I'm almost expecting an Orianna here because it's a safe pick. You can put the shield onto that Vi, onto the target that is being targeted, checked. On your teammate that is being dove by Vi is the words I wanted to look for. And as I was saying that, they've locked in Riven.
They've locked in Riven. So I'm actually, you know, I said about the fact that Aranea said, we're going to be interesting picks in this one, blah, 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 blah. Actually, I think this is better for Millenium here. This is a strong lineup of champions. They've got comfort champions, I think, pretty much across the board. And that leaves them maybe in a better position than trying something risky against Gambit.
Gambit are the ones trying something risky here. They've got a different composition. They've got a very sort of chase-heavy comp. Lots of mobility with Lee, with Warwick, with Riven. They can chase down target after target. On the condition that Leona, Vi, and Gage does not kill one of their damage-dealing characters, Gambit have got, I think, more options to win team fights. And it's going to be an interesting sustained battle between the Dr. Mundo and the Warwick in that top lane if they go toe-to-toe, because they've both got such innate ability to stay alive.
Interesting is the word you use for that one.
Yes.
Interesting in non-interesting terms. We'll have to see. Who knows? Darian has got a lot of swag and might just go for the kills. We're not quite sure about that one. Guys, let's have a look who you at home think are going to win this game. And I can tell you again, it's a big amount of you that think that one team's going to win. 85% of you have voted that Gambit are going to take down Millenium. We're going to see how that prediction holds up, but it's, again, a very, very confident vote. They weren't wrong last time around.
I would have felt this was a lot closer. I would definitely have felt that this matchup was a lot closer. Millenium as a team, I think, are a little bit underrated at this point in time. Kerp is a phenomenal mid laner. He's very solid. We've only seen good games from him over the course of the last few appearances, and you talked about it yesterday, how solid Kevin is. Kevin seldom makes massive mistakes and costs people games. So we'll have to see if that stability helps them out here today.
Mr. Reliable is Kevin. We'll see if that keeps going. Let's get in game then. It is Gambit versus Millenium. And a big game for both of these teams. The fact that Millenium sat at 1-0, Gambit have the same amount of wins on paper as well. Of course, they did lose one game yesterday against Fnatic. So this is an opportunity to kind of claw that ranking position back and try and catch up to Fnatic, who right now, they're running away with things at the top after 2 days.
Yeah, and you can see why they're running away with it. I think every aspect of the game is absolutely phenomenal right now. Gambit, in this composition, have the ability to also get a very quick lead that they can then snowball very heavily. Riven, Jinx, and Lee Sin can scale very, very quickly in the early stages of the game, and they've got a great power spike, in the sort of 12 to 20 minute mark. If they can start roaming, getting some towers down, because of all the mobility, it allows them to pick up kills and objectives with great ease.
Now, what's going to happen here at level 1? It was Fnatic actually that were tried a little bit funkiness in that level 1 earlier on. However, Gambit have done it as well in that first opening game of the season against Fnatic, where they ended up, well, dying at level 1. They're not going to want to do that one again. Looks like Jerry has actually got a bit of a problem right now. Apparently he can't use his Q spell, which Edward replies, spoiler, you got Q.
Well, we'll see how this works out. The admins are, of course, looking into this one, trying to see if there are problems. The one thing that I am interested to see is how well Gambit play now today, fresh on the first game. Gambit as a team have traditionally not started very quickly. They tend to fall a little bit behind in the early stages of tournaments and in games, and they pick it back up as the tournament goes forward. Yesterday, similar situation. They lost to Fnatic quite badly. And when we interviewed Alex after the victory against Copenhagen Wolves, he broke down, we said, how did you lose? 2.5 minutes later, he broke down every single individual thing. This went wrong, that we didn't do this, we didn't do that. So as a team, they've definitely gone backstage, talked about it, broken it down, and analyzed what not to do for future matches.
Just a quick update. It's actually Kevin who couldn't use his Q. Obviously, he's playing Dr. Mundo. Might be crucial to be able to throw your Q out as Dr. Mundo. He's just had a bit of restart, so he will be back in the game here just shortly, hopefully. That was just a little bit of an issue, not actually his Q key or something on his keyboard that's not working anymore.
The one thing I do want to talk about these compositions is that I prefer Gambit's champions for skirmishes. I think they'll do much better in 2v2s, 3v3s if they go for a split push game, if they're roaming around the map. The moment we get into bigger 5v5s, I think that Millenium's composition has got a clearer engage, has got better disengage. I think they do all of the factors that can help you win team fights, in, out, run away, damage, slightly better. Because for Gambit, it's all down to Riven, Warwick, and Lee Sin, wreaking havoc with Jinx from the backline.
His Warwick games, actually, just to statistically talk about them, ones against the Wolves yesterday, 4-1-10, he ended up with that one. was in the later game used to lock people down most of the time and to chase, of course, at the end. Against XDG at Battle of the Atlantic, 4-3-10 he ended up with that one. So same amount of kills, same amount of assists over both of those games. We'll see how he goes up here against Mr. Reliable Kevin on Mundo.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that matchup plays out. As we said, interesting is the phrase we're going to go with for this matchup. Whether or not that turns out to be true will be determined, as we do see Edward and Jerry just showing a little bit of force, saying we've got our trinkets as well, getting some vision. No invades from either of these teams. And once again, we are going to see those straight head-to-head matchups. Our solo lane is up top, and our duo lane is down bottom. Yeah,
I've seen most of this one. Important for the duo laners to be roughly at the same time there to this bottom lane, just to make sure they don't lose out on that race to level 2, which, with someone like Leona can be very important for you.
Yeah, that is definitely the case, especially once they race to get those skills available. The all-in potential in the lower levels is determined by whoever pulls the trigger first and lands that CC. Ironically, as we're talking about bottom lane, it's actually Kerp and Alex that trade some damage back and forth at level 1. Gragas can actually do pretty well once he starts to get that attack damage buff of his Drunken Rage, so got to be a little bit wary of that.
Yeah, we'll see if Alex decides to go aggressive once he starts to level up here a little bit. Kerp keeping his distance right now, and there is Alex going in once again. And then goes back off, and there he has hit level 2. Kerp getting it exactly the same time, though, so I'm guessing his point's gone into the body slam there, too, so he can keep himself safe.
He actually drank,
his W,
actually drank from the Drunken Rage, and at level 1, it's plus 30 bonus attack damage. So as long as Kerp reads the situation well, he can actually come out ahead in trades. His passive as well will also allow him to regenerate some HP, so he should actually get a little bit of authority in that lane, unless he gives up a kill. If he gives up a kill and Alex is able to continually win fights over and over, then Kerp is not going to be able to pull himself back in. So the very first kill between these two is incredibly important to determine the tempo of the rest of the lane.
You see that Alex is ahead by a decent margin here in terms of CS. Actually going to go in here on towards Kerp, and that's a lot of damage. Half of Kerp's health bar disappears.
And that's exactly what Alex is going to keep trying to do. Whenever you play Riven, you have to continually get in your face. And yesterday, Alex was doing that with LeBlanc against Pekez Oriana. He kept control of the lane. He had superior farm. Right now, the two junglers of our featured matchup, they're running toe-to-toe. It's a level 3 diamond, and he'll take the big wolf.
Takes the big wolf and actually landing the Q here on towards Aranea. This could force a flash out of Aranea, and, well, as I say, Aranea flashes away. Diamond says, not bothered about chasing from that one. I'll take what's in your jungle, and I'm happy you've got no flash for the future.
If that had been a second or two later, Diamond could have followed up with a Sonic Wave. There was 3 seconds on the clock before it went in, so almost kill potential there, and Alex has caught Kerp.
Yeah, going straight in onto him with this one. Going to get the knock-up and almost dodging the barrel, almost not being really fully there, but he's doing a great job here. 24-13 CS, and we can see that Diamond hanging off to the side. Kerp should have a little bit of an inkling that he's around there somewhere after Aranea was forced to flash earlier on. In the end, they don't see an opening, and Kerp will be safe for now.
With Kerp being so low on mana right now, Alex is in no threat of taking additional barrel poke, and he can just carry on diving onto Kerp as long as he's in front of the tower.
Yeah, going straight on into him. Actually, again goes in. This take a turret hit this time around, but Kerp, again, not really even able to farm things up, and Alex has doubled the CS of his opposite number. This bottom lane being fairly quiet up until now.
Yeah, at this point in time, Alex is just in complete control of mid because of the way he's played this early game. The bottom lane, 5 CS difference. I mean, they're not going in for each other. Level 3 Leona versus level 3 Thresh. Also 2 exhausts as far as our supports are concerned, and also flash teleports for our top laners. So let's keep that in mind as they get closer to level 6. The first real sort of gank in lane, as it were. Aranea is trying to sneak into the bottom lane, but a ward in that bush will reveal him, so no real attempt coming from that one. I think, with the exception of mid lane, fairly slow farming start between Millenium and Gambit.
Which is, I think, what we expected from this one, to be honest. Millenium yesterday ramped up slowly, I think it's fair to say, against SK. They had a big lead, but look at this. Diamond has come around the back, and Kevin, as Mundo, not got his ultimate just yet. That's a good briefcase thrown in there, and Diamond actually taking quite a lot of damage there, and he might have to just back off. Yep, they've not got the damage at this point to finish off a Mundo.
Yeah, it did need to get away just a little bit there. Sonic Wave applying some damage, and pulling him into the bushes. Right now, though, the one thing we're going to talk about, the first back from Kerp on that Gragas, he's got himself 3 Doran's rings. So, feeling the pinch, feeling the pressure of Alex in that mid lane, he wants the additional HP, ability power, and mana regen to try and throw out more barrels and make up that CS difference. He was about 15 or 20 down. That is still sitting in about the same case. And we'll have to see if Alex can maintain that lane dominance with his Vamp Scepter and pickaxe that he's longsword he's picked up.
This bottom lane, still, I think, dangerous in the fact that you've got Leona and Thresh in there, and when one of them, especially Edward, you know, he's a guy that once he's made his mind up, he's definitely going to be going in for that one. Jerry, we'll see if he has a similar thought to this one. There's the continued dominance of mid lane. RNA are not going to come around. He's currently level 4, going to do a bit more farming. He's right now 6 CS behind that of Diamond, who is on the top side of his own jungle doing the golems. Yeah,
crucially, he doesn't have that flash available. It will be up in the next sort of minute and a half. And the first invade that we've seen from Diamond was incredibly successful. He found Aranea. Lee Sin is a better duelist at levels 1 to 4 than Vi is. And until Vi gets some items, he's not really going to be able to contest with all of the additional damage and kill potential that Lee Sin offers. So Aranea playing a little bit of catch-up, as we see Diamond once again moving to his red buff. I think we may see Diamond Prox moving into lane once he gets these next buffs. I think that's probably going to be the signal. He's got his Dragon Rage available, his kill potential with all of the CC in the middle, the top lane, and the bottom lane, as long as some of those hooks or flame chompers connect.
Now, Millenium here just backed off somewhat from this bottom lane. A couple of wards coming down, and Jerry actually getting all 3 hits off required onto that one. That will mean, and it's pretty much waste. Obviously came from the trinket, so not really costing them anything in the long run, but a ward that's not giving you any vision could, in theory, be costing you.
Yeah, very smart positioning there from Jerry. Still hanging out in the bushes, trying to just, play a little bit of zoning. For those of you that don't know, Leona's Q, the Shield of Daybreak, it actually resets your auto attack. So you can land an auto attack, Q the ward, and then immediately land another one. That's what allows you to get it down before it hits the stealth. And as we were talking about, Diamond now level 6. He does have that red buff available. He's now setting up a gank. He's actually foregone the blue buff, which has respawned. And if Creatine and Jerry stick around or they get caught, they could be in trouble.
Yeah, the hook missing. The Q will land, but it's onto Jerry, level 5 Leona. And Diamond says, nope, that's not going to happen. We're going to back off. Actually, Alex and Kerp going to exchange some damage from this one. And Alex going pretty aggressive there. That's forced Kerp away.
So 2 things very quickly. The bottom lane, that was an uninspiring gank. Death Sentence didn't connect. Diamond Prox lands his Sonic Wave and backs away. In the mid lane, Kerp actually psychs Alex out, makes Alex think that a explosive cask is coming in, and almost anticipating the battle, throws down his ultimate. However, now, here comes Lee.
Oh, the kick back there on towards Kerp, who separates them both with the barrel. He's going to body slam away as well with the use of his flash. And he gets away. Incredible.
Very nicely done. Dodging that 3rd strike of the broken wings from Riven would have knocked him up in the air, allowed more of those red buff stacks to be applied, and just slowed and held in place, potentially to be killed. So, nice reply from Diamond. Manages to get another flash out of Millenium. But for the time being, no kills on the board as we approach the 10-minute mark.
There's level 6 RNA just throwing off a ward into the Dragon Pit. And we're almost at 10 minutes here. It's usually the kind of time where Gambit are already thinking about going towards Dragon, but also you might argue a time where Gambit have maybe already got something on the board to allow those Dragon plays to come in. And right now it's pretty damn even across the board.
Yeah, I think because we've got the straight head-to-head matchups of the 2v2s and 1v1s, etc., it slows down your laning phase. It extends it quite naturally because you're trading. You can see Millennium's tower has barely been touched, as is a very similar situation for the Gambit squad. And until a clear victory has been won with a kill or with immense vision control, I don't think we're going to see that Dragon being started. The first real aggressive play on the map is coming from Millenium, as they want to make a play for red buff. It has already been taken. It was a little while ago, and we do see RNA catching Diamond out.
Yeah, going on to him, and actually they're going to throw Assault on Battery his way, but have they got the follow-up onto it? No, they haven't. Did use his kick there in that one, so that's, an ultimate for an ultimate. The junglers both losing out on that front.
Yeah, nicely done there by Diamond, just to get away. Very cheeky from Kerp, actually steals the Wraith. And I think had Diamond been a little bit slower on that Dragon's Rage kick backwards, Kerp could have potentially gone in range. He had no flash available thanks to the gank, so there was no flash cask that could come down. Diamond, once again, playing a little bit safe, or rather getting out quite cleanly. So well played to him there. Millenium right now, I think, keeping up. CS numbers even across the board, and considering how much pressure Kerp was feeling very early on, I think he's done very well for that Gragas.
Farm down on this bottom lane. Actually, 5 different. That's been how it's been for the entire game almost at this stage. Now we do have 2 parts of the Trinity Force for Creatine. And Genja actually with that BF sword, a second Doran's Blade and the long sword from a little earlier on as well. The supports also going a similar route.
I don't think either of these dual lanes really want to have a big fight, because we haven't seen Jerry going in for any engagements. Now that he's got Solar Flare and RNA moving up, this may be the go signal. And even Edward's, death sentences, they've been a little bit lackluster here. We do see Diamond Prox has stood right on top of a ward there, so Millenium will be aware of his positioning. And if RNA comes in, he doesn't have that assault and battery, so they need to draw out this bait a little bit longer before RNA has got that guaranteed lockdown. Maybe once Diamond is gone, this is the signal now to go, and they've done it!
Yeah, they have Diamond out of that one. There's the ultimate coming out of Leona, and True Shot Barrage comes across as well. In the end, they're not able to pick up a kill, but Creatine going aggressive. The Zap will slow him down. They've landed the hook as well, but Gambit can't follow through, and Millenium bully them out.
If Edward sticks around, Assault and Battery's available, RNA may throw himself in.
Yeah, they've thrown the box down there. There is RNA going down. He's taking a lot of damage and actually gets away from the turret, but look at this. Warwick's coming around the back. They're all low. This could be disaster. This could be disaster for Millenium. Darian going to ulti in towards Aranea. Creatine going low. Have they got the damage to finish him off? 1 or 2 more hits will do it. Uses a barrier. It's a kill for Diamond. There is Kevin now in the bottom lane. And Gambit walk off. That's 3 for 1.
Very good turnaround from Gambit. They lost Edward under the tower, but a very clear call that a teleport was coming in from Darian. Edward threw himself into Millenium, held the members in place long enough for Darian to arrive. Thanks to the kills that they've secured and the numbers advantage, plus having Smite available, they now grab themselves a dragon as well and give themselves a 2,000 gold lead. That was very good calling from Gambit and very good reactionary play, realizing, hey, we're going to lose members under the tower, but we can turn it around by picking up kills and following it with the dragon.
Let's have a look down some of the items now. We've got, I say, a bit of a breather. That was the only real action that we have seen so far. If we look up towards the top lane, Darian in there with the Chalice. Just finish off his Wit's End as well after picking that last kill up. We also have the BF sword added into the Vamp Scepter for Riven in the middle. And we can see that Gragas, Kerp, pretty standard start against someone like Riven, picking up the Seeker's Arm Guard for the start of it.
Yeah, because he's gone for the triple Dorans, it's actually also slowed him down from progressing further in his build. Currently sitting on just shy of 1,600 gold, so needs to get a good couple hundred more up before he can finish off the likes of that Zhonya's Hourglass. But when you're facing all of the physical damage that Riven's putting out, you can't afford to go for MR or a similar build. We actually seen Kautar doing that on Zyra yesterday. It didn't work out for him, focusing on that Athene's and Holy Grail against a Kha'Zix. So smart decision making from Kerpen. It's keeping him alive. He's still only 10 CS down.
Well, if we look at the gold total here over the game, 2,000 is what Gambit lead with. Obviously, all things considered, that 3-1 kill scoreline and the Dragon straight after that as well. We can see the individual scores there from the lanes, and between most of them, there's not that much of a difference. It's just in the jungle, really. Yeah,
and that's, of course, because of the fact that Diamond's got himself that kill in there. He's also managed to be involved with the Dragon pickup, so a little bit more global gold on his side of the map. They've caught Edwin a great Zenith.
Great, indeed. The box goes down, and that stops J-Ree from pushing any further through. The Chompers came in as well. We did see Kerp starting to roam down that bottom side, but in the end, not really able to lock them up. You have to give credit to Edward as well for the flay that stopped J-Ree coming in.
Yeah, immediately just pulled him backwards and prevented that. The Solar Flare was a tiny bit off, but I think good reactionary play. Now, with Diamond Prox moving towards the river, if a death sentence connects, they may want to be going in for a fight. And as I start saying that, I'm a little unsure about where he wants to move. You see the death sentence does catch out Creatine. There comes Genja.
That was a brilliant hook coming in, but Creatine able to walk away. There's the Chompers onto J-Ree, which means he takes a lot of damage. Genja has the Lantern there for safety, but he's happy to do the damage. There's a super mega death rocket, and Creatine survives with about 20 HP, I think, overall from that one. So very close for Genja.
Very close indeed. As it stands right now, the hook goes out, doesn't connect Aranea, and Genja You feel like they deserved that one. Connected every single shot, forcing the dual lane of Millenium backwards. Alex and Diamond are trying to roam. Sonic Wave has caught Arena, and here comes Alex.
Oh, Alex coming in there as well, but they couldn't quite get behind them. And get that kick on there. That's what Diamond was looking for. Throw one back into the team. Millenium have replied by coming over to this bottom side. I think Gambit might want to be heading away from this one. There's a barrel. It locks down two of them. Edward's a dead man. Kurt gets that. Assault and battery goes all the way through the wall. There's a solar flare as well. Genja's not getting out of this one. That will be Arenea's kill. And Millenium turning around just like that.
Very good turnaround, but that is a mistake from Gambit. They dove for the kills. Got me super excited that they were going to go for the fight, and Alex backed away. Unfortunately, the rest of the team did not respond as quickly. As such, they lose 2 kills. Alex has dealt a lot of damage on the mid lane tower, but has been unable to secure it. And the first tower of the game should in fact be falling as Millenium try to shove this one down. They're actually denying CS here from Gambit's dual lane. It will eventually fall victim. So a very good reactionary play to Gambit's overextension.
You're allowed to get overexcited. I casted a replay yesterday, so you're allowed one of them per day, I've been told. Alex here just making sure that his turret doesn't take too much damage as Kurt just throws that wave back in his direction. So after that, we're all tied up on the kills. Obviously, Millenium have that turret advantage. Gold's, yeah, it's been brought back here to about 1,000 between them. We've got the Dragon coming up in less than 2 minutes. That's our next big fight point, surely. Now,
yesterday, Millenium had great Dragon control against SK Gaming. In this matchup, they were unable to secure the first one because, of course, they lost the fight. And I think Gambit is still probably my favorite team when it comes to Dragon control in Europe. I think they put more emphasis on that objective than many of the other European teams. And we'll see how Millenium decide to challenge. There's a lot of wards down already for Gambit in and around that river that are starting to time out. So they'll need to refresh those as Dragon is getting closer to spawning. And that could be the next point of contention.
1 minute to go on that one. Jerry's got a pink ward inside of the Tribush, plus couple around that Dragon pit as well. So the duo's going to face off here once again. In terms of items, Cretan already got that Trinity Force in there, the Bloodthirster on the other side. There's a Bloodthirster for Alex along with the Brutalizer as well. I already talked about that Zhonya's Hourglass a little earlier for Kurt. In terms of the tanky top lanes, and we only really saw with that teleport coming down there, Sunfire Cape for Mundo, that Wit's End, the Chalice, and now a Giant's Belt added in actually for Darian on Warwick.
Yeah, it's a similar build that he did yesterday, in fact, and like he ran at Battle of the Atlantic. A very good build, and you know, this interesting matchup is just a farm fest. Once again, with both top laners running Flash Teleport, there's very little possibility of them killing each other without jungle aid or even mid lane aid in this situation. And with teleports being available and Dragon coming up, look at the vision for both of these teams. There are 3 Gambit wards close to the pit, 3 Millenium wards just below the pit, so they should be aware of when this objective is being started. And I think that both of these top laners will most likely get involved by using those teleports at some point.
Yeah, there's no way they can clear everything out there. 2 sweeping lenses to 1 actually. Millenium with 2 on their side. Both supports actually got it. It's Aranea that makes the difference on that front of things, and that will allow them to clear a little bit out. Pink ward's also down as well for both teams, although one is in the Tribush, one in the Death Brush on the top side of the Dragon Pit. And Alex Itch there just going in towards Aranea. He's like, nope, I'm getting away from that one. And as we said, Dragon not really either team having too much control of it, which means they're a little bit uneasy now.
Yeah, very smart play by Aranea. The moment Alex showed his face, he backed away with Vault Breaker. He does not want to get caught out because there's a lot of burst that can come down from that Brutalizer plus Bloodthirster Riven. The wards are timing out and getting replaced by both of these teams, and Diamond has been hanging around the bottom half of the map. This is the 2nd or 3rd time he sort of moved towards the Dragon before now recalling. And it's just a matter of time before they make an attempt on it. As it stands, though, I think all the teams, all the players happy to keep farming. And the only one that's falling a little bit behind right now is, in fact, Kerb. He's not farming his Wraith Camp as effectively as Alex is farming his own Wraith Camp, and that's why there's a 30 CS difference between the two of them right now.
Well, Millenium moving a couple of men down. Kerb, he walked over that pink ward. Should have seen it. Should be able to take it down.
not using attack move, and that's cost you that little situation. Gambit, I think, smart decision making here. Tower in the middle may go down. There's a teleport already coming in from Warwick. It may be too late for Dragon. Smite is available. Question is, who's going to get it?
Oh, they've got time here, actually. Darian going straight into the middle of them. The Dragon is actually taken in the end by Gambit, but we can see how low they've got. Alex Ich finally joins at the front side, though. Arenea's surely going to fall here, and Warwick will surely be chasing straight through onto things, although he is a little bit low, so they need to be careful with this one. Briefcase not connecting, and only one death so far in this fight. That's on Edward's side. Gambit did get the Dragon, though.
Yeah, very nicely done. The suppression was thrown onto Arenea. It's one of the only, I believe it's the only thing that can prevent you smiting under those circumstances. So Diamond Prox gets into range, manages to put a lot of damage down. I'm lying to you entirely, he didn't even do it. It's just a straight steal. Straight steal. I've just quickly rewound the battle, and Diamond Prox straight up beat Arenea. So well played there. That's thrown me off completely.
It's not something you want just to be simply outside. Here we go, we can see that one again.
Yeah, there we go. This is exactly what we're talking about. Smite from Arenea was very early. I think he was anticipating a little bit more burst damage from the rest of his team. And then once again, you see a situation where Kevin is low on Dr. Mundo. He's unable to affect the back line of Gambit. And because he's not running amok amongst the Gambit members, they're able to just push Millenium backwards, push them out of the fight, and force them on the back foot, allowing the chase potential of Riven, Lee, and Warwick to scare them back to the tower.
Well, back to farming, I think, is the plan for both of these teams right now. It's been pretty much the overlying plan for most of this game. 2,500 gold lead that Gambit have right now certainly will start to show for them. CS lead in the mid lane is quite big, and they are going to go in here, but I'm not sure that Alex will fall to this one. There's a lot to throw in there, a lot of CC. The barrel comes in. Alex knocked around all over the place, and it's hard to escape from that one.
It's incredibly difficult. Fact of the matter is, that actually took a very long time. You know, they had to commit a lot of time, every single individual resource to that one, and it ended up costing them. Now, Arenea and Kerp still wanting to fight with Darian and Diamond. They got to be careful because neither of them have their ultimates available. So if they were to get CC'd, with the aid of Edward, it may have been enough to get the kills. And I think that's worrying for Millenium. I think if they have to commit that much time and that many resources to killing Alex, these next team fights could go very differently. Now, once again, Arenea is throwing himself at Darian.
Oh, that's a great vault breaker coming in onto him, but actually Darian doesn't really care and just hungering strikes his way back.
Yeah, going to use that passive, keeps healing up. Now he's going to fight.
It is going to fight things. Kevin actually popping his ultimate, kind of walking in, walking out. What shall I do? I'm not quite so sure. And that's obviously going to regen him up greatly in this one. So he's not really in danger of going down. In fact, he'll probably just reset this into, well, that top lane match that we've been seeing all along.
Yeah, look at those heals. The damage from Hungering Strike is percentage HP damage. It's 16% of the target's maximum HP. So if he's hitting Kevin, who's got a Sunfire Cape and a Giant's Belt, that is a massive amount of HP. It actually heals him for 80% of the damage dealt. And all of his auto attacks, every time he hits a minion or monster or champion, he's getting health back from those as well. So it's so difficult to push a Warwick out of lane. I want to see how it transitions now as this game goes forward, because the suppression is going to allow him to lock down Ezreal, who's one of the slipperiest AD carries. So as long as Alex Ich can follow the suppression dive, I think Creatine's going to be in trouble in these upcoming fights.
Now Renee just came to the top lane to make sure that turret stayed safe. It's at half HP, and in the end, actually, Darian had decided not to push on straight through. He's almost sat on 1,000 gold here, is Darian as well, so might go and turn that into something in a little while. 1,700 gold for Genja to spend as well there on Jinx, and he's still behind in the CS, but that difference has not really got bigger.
No, not at all. It stayed static, and of course, as long as you're not falling further and further behind, that's fine. I think Genja's Jinx, by no means as dominant as Reckless as Jinx right now, it can still scale and offer you more damage, especially with that ultimate. I've talked about execution so many times, and I really think it needs to be stated once again, because you're going to combo that splash damage plus execute with Rivens. And as soon as Diamond Prox and Darian jump onto somebody, those two can clean up and they can carry on chasing down. So that's where the cleanup crew has to be for Gambit. Only 2 towers have fallen at 25 minutes, and this is by far the slowest game, because I think even SK Millenium had more action and fights by this point in the matchup yesterday.
Yeah, Millenium were a mile ahead at this point, 25 minutes. Unfortunately for us, or for them, for whoever, it took another 25 minutes for them to actually close the game out. But they say it themselves, they're not here to be really flashy. They just want to get the job done and get the points on the board.
Well, at this point in time, they're behind, and that's not going to happen. So 3,000 gold behind Gambit, 1 tower down. Finally, Darian's sustain in lane allows him to push Kevin away. He's still sticking to that top lane, and you can see Aranea looking for a rinse and repeat kill on Alex, but Diamond was there to back him up. So if they want to commit all of that time and that resources, Diamond may be able to throw a spanner in the works and get rid of them, as it were. Dragon's going to be coming up in about 30 seconds time. Teleports once again available for our top laners. So within a minute or two of it spawning, I think that's going to be the next time they fight in Millenium. If they want to focus Dragon, they have to do it quicker, and they cannot afford to get it stolen away. I mean, Diamond had a very good steal last time, just straight up outsmiting Aranea.
A couple of recalls coming in. Alexic going back in. Actually leaves just 5 seconds until Dragon comes up. If Millenium went now, if they reacted to this one right now, they would have the man advantage down there, but the pink ward right at the front from Gambit, and the ward's going in at the backside, not really making them feel all that confident with really turning the corner and trying to get involved in the action there.
No, I think the fact that they've got vision of the pit and they realize that Gambit are not attempting it right now, they're going to play it a little safe. I think they've also got a very good steal potential. If Aranea were to throw himself over the wall, plus Gragas barrels, it's something you always have to consider, always. The burst of Smite plus Explosive Cask is very, very high. Right now, the fact that Kerp is miles away means Dragon's been started. Aranea's going to try steal.
Oh, he's going to go in for that one, but, well, Diamond, safe as ever on that Smite. Edward actually just sat at the back of things, trying to bully Aranea away, just waits for his Vault Breaker to come off cooldown and escapes again. Gambit will be fine with that, though. No need to really have any kind of risky fight. They've picked up Dragon, they just walk back off, and they're going to farm a bit.
Yeah, absolutely nothing was expended there. Absolutely nothing. No summoner spells, with the exception of Smite. No teleport was used. Darian roamed down to the bottom. He hasn't even lost out on CS, really, 240 to 245. Now Millenium, however, they want to try and focus this mid tower. There are 4 members of their team. There's a teleport coming in from Darian. It's being followed by Kevin. He's caught.
Yeah, they hooked him in actually underneath the tower, and look at that, down to half health. Darian falling at the front. There's Diamond coming in from the side. Creatin's gone very low. Super Mega Death Rocket not really having the impact they'd have liked. This is a big, messy fight, but everyone from Millenium going low there at the back. We see Genja now chasing down. Can they finish Creatin? There's the Arcane Shift. Darian still chasing. Zap! Max range to get another one. And here's Darian flashing his way through. One more should do it. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Darian picks up that one. And just like that, Gambit picking up 3 kills to back away. But it's not over just yet. Aranea's charging up. Aranea's charging down. He goes down on the inner turret. And this is going to be a tower as well for Gambit.
Aranea should not have been there. And we talked about the chasing potential. How Warwick, Lee, and Riven can run you down. And of course, if you're getting kills while doing it, Jinx's passive Get Excited gives you a massive movement speed boost. Allows you to just keep chasing. After the initiation from Gambit, who started the fight first, I want to stress that. They were the ones that ran in. Kevin teleported. The rest of Millenium were running away. They weren't in the lane. So as soon as he teleports, a great hook from Edward starts that fight out, allows Gambit to get 4 kills, a tower, a Baron, and a 9,000 gold lead.
Yeah, that's a big swing right there. And I love the decisiveness from Gambit as well. Take the fight, move straight back off, pick off the Baron, and go straight back home before they can even come around. Here's another look at that one. Started off with a top lane teleport.
Yeah, Darian was teleporting a little bit safer. Kevin came in the middle of the lane, and the rest of his team had backed away. Nobody else was fighting, so Kevin getting caught forces Millenium to run back in. They're not in opportune position, and because they're sort of re-engaging from different angles, it allows Gambit to focus fire targets and allows Gambit to just chase down. Look at the movement speed here from Darian, as well as the Get Excited after the zap. It's just flash forward, land some more damage, and just keeps chasing over and over. The Gambit composition is much better at cleaning up these messy, low health fights than what Millenium is, and especially because Millenium didn't have a straight-up engage. That's what cost him.
There's Aranea, the last stand, I think, on that turret where he was looking at a lot of juicy targets, really low HP, but in the grand scheme of things, just losing another kill for Millenium's total. And another thing that happened during that fight, Darian's Infinite Duress, his ultimate was used onto Creatine. That's an important thing because it stopped him getting out of there, which was probably the biggest thing that led to his death.
Yeah, and it's what we talked about very early on, how Ezreal is very difficult to deal with. Darian is now getting caught out. Can they kill him?
Well, it wouldn't be a week of LCS action without Darian getting caught out. Whether they can finish off a kill against him is another matter here, because the rest of Gambit actually coming down and Darian just walking away. And he's actually going to ulti in on towards Aranea here. Is he going to be able to pick up the kill from it? There is the rest of the team. The hook lands onto Aranea. Darian, you have all the swag. And look at Diamond, he's come around the back. He's a little bit out in no man's land, but he'll get the kick into the hook. What a combo from Gambit. Box goes down. Now they're looking for even more as they focus Kerp. He's going to use the Zhonya's. They surround him and hunt him down. It's Darian that picks up that kill.
Darian didn't even use his Infinite Duress while trying to escape. He baited so well, just walking away, pulling both Aranea and Creatine after him. They needed to back off a little bit sooner. They lose 3 members. They're most likely going to lose that outer turret if the minions take it down. And the rest of Gambit are just focusing on this mid lane. They're making it very clear they want an inhibited turret first.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
And there is another turret going down. We have Jinx in the top lane pushing that one through. I'm not sure what they're going to do to defend this inhib turret, to be honest with you. I do see a couple of guys starting to spawn in ever so slightly, but this inhibitor's going down. That is a lot of damage onto these towers. We saw in the last game from Reckless what Jinx can do to the towers as well. And
it's not over.
He's done that. It's not over just yet. It's going to be close.
4 towers. That's 5 towers in inhibitor. Now they want another fight.
There they go, pushing straight in. Alex, it's right down the middle of them. Kevin trying to get away. It doesn't matter how tanky Mundo is. They've got enough damage to finish the thing off. And Alex almost getting involved in that one as well. This is a second inhibitor going down for Gambit.
Gambit could push on for the win if they wanted to. It's a 5v4. Most of their ultimates are basically going to be available. The box is coming up, as is Infinite Duress. If Creatine sticks too close, Darian will most likely jump on his head. Baron buff is slowly wearing out, and my word, have Gambit made it effective. They can finish the game right now.
They've got full HP here, Gambit, thanks to that regen, and they're actually going to go in on towards Kirk. There's a kill for Edward. Are they going to go for finishers here? Yes, they are. Aranea locked up. He goes to Genja at the back. He will be finished off, though, by Genja. The first Nexus turret is actually down. The second one's going to be made short work of, and Gambit head over towards the fountain. A dance by Darian will seal victory for Gambit as they go 2-1 here in the LCS.
What an incredible finish. After the slow pace of that game and how even it was for just how long that game took, the moment that Darian was able to bait out Creatine and Aranea, they were able to just turn it on. The decisiveness to move across the map, let minions take bottom turret, they push middle, Genja push top. I mean, phenomenal play coming out of Gambit.
So good, and again, we were talking about this Warwick pick. Yesterday, I'm still not 100% sold on it, but again, it produces a win for Gambit. 3-0-9, Darian ends there at the end. You saw the bait. That bait was just incredible. I thought he was going to get caught out because, as I said, Darian likes to do that every now and then, but the drawing was just incredible.
You know why I like the Warwick right now when you think about it? Is that when you compare him to the other tanks that deal sustained damage over time, the Shyvana, Dr. Mundo, etc., he can basically sustain through large portions of that sustained damage. Even if you have a Shyvana that builds Blade of the Ruined King, he can prioritize a little bit of armor, get himself up to like a Sunfire Cape, and just keep life-stealing his way through the damage. Then the chase potential plus the CC. It's a top lane Vi, dare I say it, guaranteed lockdown, guaranteed suppress, and as soon as you got some damage like Jinx, it's easy kills and resets in team fights. That could have even worked with like a Kha'Zix in middle, who we know Alex is so comfortable with.
Oh, we saw it in that big fight in middle, didn't we? The fact that he locked onto Creatine right from the very get-go. His health bar was reduced to pretty much nothing, but it's the fact that he kept in there for so long that really helped them to win that fight. Alex playing the Riven in the middle actually came out without a single kill in that game, funnily enough. 0-1-10 he ended. Genja 6-1-3 on Jinx. Jinx so far has proved to be very, very effective throughout our first 2 days.
And it definitely hits a spike. Jinx in this particular matchup struggled a little early. I think Genja wasn't able to get as many kills in lane or push the towers down as quick as possible. I think there was 1 tower apiece at 25 minutes. However, once they had one clear-cut team fight, Jinx then just skyrocketed in damage. The rest of the composition around Gambit was built around getting somebody low and then using the Wind Slash and the Super Mega Death Rocket to kill somebody, and then allow Warwick and Jinx to just keep running you down, because you cannot outrun that at all. So very smart team building from Gambit and very smart execution in the actual game.
And one thing that impresses me about Gambit is how they win games. Not how they win the game, but how they finish it mostly. We looked at Millenium yesterday, themselves picking up the win against SK, and they were guilty of not being to the point, making obvious pinpoint decisions, saying, okay, we do this, and then we win the game. We saw it there from Gambit. They pick up Baron. They've got Genja pushing the top lane on his own. They take the middle inhib, and they just go from one objective to the other, win the game, and they just look so decisive when they're on form.
That's the cleanest finish we've seen all week.
Yeah.
Out of all the games we've seen so far, that is the quickest, the most surgical completion to a game. They didn't back. So from the time that fight happened, it took about maybe 2 minutes to finish the entire match. I think they even still had Baron running by the time it ended. It was just so incredibly quick, and very good play. So in less than a third of the countdown from when Baron was available to it wearing off, they were able to wrap the game up completely.
Well, that puts Gambit a little bit closer to Fnatic, 2-1 as opposed to 3-0. I mean,